This is a prepaid collect payphone call. If you would like to accept this call, please press 1 now. Thank you. Your call has been accepted.
Hey everyone, you're listening to the Payphone Podcast with me, Callie.
And me, Ava. Pick up the payphone to join our cross-country conversations every Sunday.
Giving you relationship advice, fashion tips and tricks, and the struggles of adulting.
All before you need to give another quarter.
Just a disclaimer, we're not doctors or professionals, so everything we say, take with a grain of salt, as it's just our personal opinions and advice based off our own experiences.
Hello. Welcome to our podcast.
Welcome.
Payphone Podcast. Thank you for listening. Thank you for stopping in. This is exciting.
Yeah, we're so stoked. We've been literally planning, in the background, just working so fast to get everything out when we wanted to this Sunday. Mm-hmm. And, oh my gosh, we're so excited.
But it's going to be worth it.
Here.
It's going to be so worth it.
Yeah, it'll be fun. And, if you don't like it now, we will be putting out bigger, better content later. So just stick around.
Right. This is just going to be a little introduction, a little get to know us, so that when you're listening, you can know a little background information for us going forward. And it's not as who are these two people randomly talking to me and why do they matter? I will say we are very ordinary, normal people. So
quite
so if you're listening, it's probably because you know us personally in real life, or you just are an active follower on our social media and you're just intrigued.
Yes,
but either way, hello.
Welcome.
So to introduce ourselves,
so I'm Callie. Like Ava said earlier, if you're listening, you probably already know us, but a little background. I am 21. I currently live in Dallas, Texas. I study at DBU, so Dallas Baptist University, and I'm actually pursuing my master's degree right now. I'm a grad student. Whoop, whoop, yes, in professional counseling, which is something that, I never really thought I would do. Was get a degree after my degree, but here we are. So my undergrad was in psychology and criminal justice. So
very intense.
I have a very intense background. Heard it all, seen it all, been around it all. And I work actually in a counseling center, and it's one of my favorite places in the world, and I love working there, but it's pretty intense. So,
right.
Yeah, that's my background.
So you kind of actually know what you're talking about. The advice you're going to give is somewhat professional.
Let's finish that degree and then I'll say that I know what I'm talking about. But I still feel like I'm floundering a bit here. I have lots of cases that I've studied and people that I've seen and met with that have probably been through things we're going to talk about. So in that instance, yes.
Right. I will just be speaking from experience of my own life or my world around me, not really professionally, but that's okay. A good balance here.
It's probably a better route anyway, experience. But so that's my background. Ava's is pretty different from mine.
Quite different, on the complete opposite side of the spectrum. So I'm Ava, I'm 22, I'm currently in Georgia, and I go to an art school where I study fashion. I'm doing fashion design, fashion marketing, and fashion journalism. So, kind of a lot, but...
Love all that.
Yeah, very, very different from Callie's studies, but they're both fun, both super interesting, and we both have some fun stories of both sides.
So, speaking of our different backgrounds, it plays a lot into, how we decided what we wanted our podcast to be about. Mm-hmm. So, to combine kind of everything we wanted to cover and everything that we feel like we have a little more expertise to cover. Each week will be a different genre. We have 4 genres that will rotate through every month. It will vary on the topics that we touch on, but the general subject and title and all that will be going through those 4. So if you don't like one of them, you can tune in every once a month or every, twice a month or something like that. Whatever you personally want to listen to. I feel like our podcast is going to cater to something along those lines,
Right. There's definitely something for everyone. yeah, so our first episode, I guess this is going to be considered under this genre, but we're calling it whatever, because for lack of better words, we're talking about whatever. Literally just whatever comes to mind, any random conversation. So it literally just feels like you're sitting and talking to your friends about anything and everything. Very casual, laid back, you know, grab a snack, have friends on in the background or something if you can listen to more than one thing at once.
I was about to say, like, you have like the TV on. Do you do that?
Well, I sometimes will have the TV on or music on when I read, so that's where my brain was going at.
Oh.
But I guess you couldn't listen to a podcast and watch TV. I would take that back.
I was about to say, if you could, that's like really impressive. I don't think I could do that.
One ear's listening to that, one ear's listening. No. Do your homework as you listen. Do something, you know? Just chill with us.
Yeah. We're kind of just there to keep you company. We'll be talking about just a glimpse into our friendship. You can join us. You'll be our third best friend.
Join the party. But then we also want to be like your friend when your friends aren't around, or your additional friend if you're with a group. But then we also want to be your big sister.
Yeah. So that's why our next genre, so the second week, which will actually be next week, we'll be uploading this topic. It's going to be called Sincerely Big Sis. And it's basically just all things relationships. It'll be anything from advice to experiences to questions, concerns regarding all things relationships, and relationships as in boys, girls, friends, family, like, you know, coworkers, roommates, anything like that. Like we said, we're 21, 22, we're young adults. We're heavily involved in all of those
complications.
Relationships. Yeah. Complicated relationships. Right. So we'll touch on all that. So, yeah.
So if you have any relationship dilemmas or things you would like to talk about, you're more than welcome to shoot us a DM, an email, or anything. And
yes,
we will talk about it with you, completely anonymous.
Yeah.
And
of course.
We will be your big sister to your problem, or problem is a bad word to use, but to your needs. Yeah. And we'll give you the love and care and support and help you resolve your issues. Would. Yes, as your big sister would. I hope my little sister isn't listening to this and being like, what? You don't do that to me. I would if she came to me with her problems. But
oh, she's calling you out.
Talk to me.
Yeah, my sister is 8 years younger than me, so very much our relationship is advice centered.
Right. Yeah, maybe she and I are just too close in age where she feels weird. Maybe. I don't know. I want to know though.
Yeah, y'all are kind of going through it together, you know.
Well,
but yeah. So so that's our Sincerely Big Sis. I'm really excited about that one. I think that's
gonna be like
I said, we have
one.
Yeah, like we just have such different standpoints and views and experiences with all things relationships. Right. I think we'll really get to cover all of it. And like Ava said, for any of these topics, really, feel free to DM us on Instagram. It's just at Payphone Podcast. And we can DM us. Everything will be anonymous, and we can definitely bring it up and talk about it. But so speaking of different backgrounds and things, like I said, I study something completely different than Ava, and she is in fashion, which is just so intriguing, and just I think is so cool to go to school for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll get to talk about that.
We will, and those episodes are going to be called Rags to Riches, because not only is it fashion, but we're also going to be talking about, you know, the world of social media and how social media works. We did not mention this before, but Callie and I, we're not like famous influencers here. We are completely regular, ordinary people. And I feel like
very
even though we use our social medias for more quote unquote influencer ways
ish things,
right?
Yeah,
like not the whole like Facebook version of Instagram where it's just friends and family. It's more like ourselves and fashion and modeling and our work and stuff like that. But since we've both shifted our social medias in that kind of direction, we have noticed, you know, that there's a lot of things that come about, or a lot of conversations that can be held about social media, whether it's the positive outcomes or the negative outcomes or whatever it may be, some new trends that are happening, whatever it is, we're going to talk about it. But we're also going to talk about fashion, because even though, yes, I go to school for fashion, Callie and I met through that outlet. And so, we both have some insight and knowledge, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about, trends, or what to wear or what not to wear, or, anything. If you need some tips and tricks, if you want to know anything, Callie's going to share some of her modeling, because she's a model, and photography. We'll maybe have some guest talks with some photographers that we know, other people that are involved in fashion, and it's going to be a good time. I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's going to be so fun. I'm really looking forward to it. This upcoming, so in 3 weeks from, I guess, when we upload this, we'll be going over the Met Gala, which I am just so stoked about. Although we'll save it. So that's kind of, Ava touched on that. I do have a fashion background. It's been a hot minute, but we are involved in that world, and we'd love to share more about that with y'all, and tips and all that.
I was just going to add, when we kind of hinted at the idea of starting this podcast, Callie and I posted a story on our Instagram asking people, like, hey, is this something that would interest you? And if so, what topics are you interested in us talking about? And the number one answer we received was fashion. So I was kind of surprised by that, but I'm glad, because it's such a fun topic to talk about.
Fashion and true crime, which we couldn't really get true crime to fit in here, but I'm sure it'll come up probably in our whatever. It'll definitely come up in our conversations, because it does in our everyday conversations anyway. Both obsessed. Yes. And basically it's what I study.
Right,
it's just
exactly.
True crime.
We got a little bit of both of what we study in here.
Yeah, speaking of tips, tricks, advice, the last genre, so the 4th week of the month, we will be doing what we're going to call doing my best.
We're just all doing our best out here.
Yes, really are. Just struggle busting our way through young adulthood. And so it'll basically be kind of like an advice column. Like we said, we'll be posting polls and questions and stuff on our stories on the podcast Instagram. And if, we don't get big enough, we'll probably post it on our personal Instagrams. And we'll just get, questions and things that y'all want us to talk about. And it'll kind of just be about young adulthood life, just life questions in general, how to get along with roommates, how to go about something that happened, drama.
How to apply for jobs, how to manage money.
Oh my gosh, yes.
What do I do after I graduate high school? What do I do after I graduate college? Just your more real life things that you need advice on. Again, if you send us any messages, they are totally anonymous. It'll stay just between us. You don't even have to tell us who you are. It'll be completely anonymous, and then we'll just give you our honest advice, because quite like the title, we're just doing our best, and we want to help you do your best.
That was good. That was a good one.
No, but we won't be cringy in our advice we give to you. It's going to be sincere from the heart, and
we're going to try.
Right. Try our best. So you're probably wondering why we're doing a podcast when we quite literally just said we're nobodies. We're just regular people. And a short and sweet, quick answer, we just thought it would be fun. And also, I feel like we have a different perspective on some things because we're not, super big or anything. Whereas every other podcast I listen to, they're very well-known people, whereas their life and experiences, while interesting, might not always be super relatable because it's not, the same as the next person, whereas now we have more things to relate to because we're literally just like you. So, and in fact, the way that this idea of doing a podcast came about was in the most, ironic, joking way, yet here we are. Callie, you want to share that story since it was your idea?
Ava likes to put it on me that it was my idea, but it was so casually. Yeah, it was so casually thrown out that I don't even feel like it was, but it was a joint idea. So story of the podcast, basically. We were on a road trip back from Austin to our hometown, and we were there celebrating Ava's 22nd. Cue the Taylor Swift song.
No.
And there was she hates it when I say that, but there was 4 of us, so there was 2 just knocked out cold in the back seat sleeping the whole ride home, and so me and Ava were in the front. We were just like listening and vibing and to this podcast called The Girls Bathroom, which I'm obsessed with.
Very
now.
engaged in this podcast, might I add. Like, we were totally like talking to each other like as if we were talking to the people of the podcast, and like fully engaged.
Yep.
It was so fun.
Yeah, it was so fun. I just remember being like, they were just 2 best friends that were around our same age, and they were just talking about just whatever, and I think I turned to Ava and I was like, what if we did podcasts? Like, I think people would listen to it. We're
interesting.
Maybe. Like, we just
casually laughed it off.
I don't know. I think it'd be fun. Yeah. We just like laughed about it and whatever. And then I think, like a few days later, Ava texted and she was like, so podcast? And I was like, yeah, podcast.
And here we are.
Here we are.
Dog barking. Sorry.
Yeah, we are normal college kids that live with house and roommates, so you're going to have to excuse noises that may happen every once in a while. I will do my best to cut them out, but...
Yeah, and also another reason why we thought that the podcast might be fun is not only just because we're friends, because that seems like a pretty boring explanation, but as you've heard us talk about throughout this episode, is that Callie and I are very different yet the same. So, with certain topics, we're going to have completely opposing views or experiences that, it's like there's something for everyone. But we also have the same interests, so we're not like not relatable at all, we like the same things. Exactly. So, there's some cohesiveness in our differences. Yeah, but
we're different, but we're very compatible because I'm a Pisces and she's a Leo. And we will throw that around a lot.
I've read some things that say we're very compatible and some that say like we're literally the worst together. So I don't really know.
Like, but it's different probably in friendships and relationships.
That's true.
So I'm assuming like we probably...
Would you date me?
Maybe we wouldn't have... No. I would not date you. I love you to death, but I would not
I
date
can
you.
agree.
Yeah.
Love you. Anyway.
So anyway, with no offense.
No, I'm not offended. I wouldn't date me either.
Exactly. I wouldn't date me either.
But we discovered these similarities and differences back when we were in high school. That's when we met, when we were, 16, 17?
Oh, gosh. I don't even know. I think... You know more about, you remember more about when we met, honestly. I have such a horrible memory when it comes to anything, high school related,
You just
honestly.
blocked that out of your memory. Just terrible experience.
I was it sophomore or junior year? When did we say that we, met?
We, I met you for the first time, seeing you, I think, junior year. But we didn't become, actual legit friends until senior year. Right?
Oh, yeah, because well, you... Okay,
yes,
wait.
I think that's right.
That's right. Well, background story. We both have, or did do, have a... what's the word?
What are you trying
we have
to
a
say?
friend, a mutual friend. And so we knew of each other because one of my, childhood best friends was one of Ava's first friends that she met when she moved to our hometown.
Which was just shortly prior to that.
Yeah, so it was sophomore-ish year
of high school.
And and so I knew of her because she was friends with one of my old friends. But we didn't meet for a while. And then it wasn't until senior year when we were probably friends. Right. Because I feel junior year was when we met. Maybe when I was I think you had come into the class, into my fashion design class. Didn't you come to look at my dress I'd sewed?
Yeah, you were making
that? And that was
you were making your prom dress, and I think you needed our friend's opinion, and I was just with her at the time, so I just came, and that's when I met you, and I was like, whoa, you're making your prom dress. That's so cool. And then after that, our friend would like stop you in the hallway every day we were going to lunch, and then I would say hi to you basically every day without even really knowing who you were. And then somehow, I really don't even remember how this fell into place, but we decided to basically, okay, so our school did this thing where you could like teach your own class. So like you were your own class, like just you, and you would have to have like a supervisor or whatever, but you made your own like coursework and you did your own thing.
Yeah.
And so I knew that I wanted to...
It was called project based.
Right, yeah.
Sorry, I didn't
No,
mean to
you're
interrupt,
fine.
But
that is what it was called.
Project based.
And I think I learned about that towards the end of junior year, and I had taken fashion design junior year, and wanted to continue it. And then I think I had heard that you were doing it, or that our teacher told me you were also doing it, something along the lines of that. And I was like, oh yeah, I know that girl. So we decided to do it together, and so our class was quite literally just me and you, where we did our own work, and we were forced to be together for majority of the school day.
Literally, I think we had talked about it earlier. I think like senior year of high school, we spent 4 hours a day, like with each other, and like every single day, 5 days a week, because of like this class, and I think we had a few other classes. But yeah, so it was project-based fashion design, and yeah, I studied design my whole time in high school. I did graphic design, I did an art class, I did photography, videography, and then I kind of switched over to interior design, which led to fashion design, and then I took that project-based, so basically advanced fashion design for 2 years, and then me and Ava senior year did it together, and that's when we did our fashion show, which like
I always forget that like happened, but like we literally put together an entire fashion show. Not only did we design and make all the clothes, we actually physically put the show together.
Everything
we
together.
Hosted it, lighting, and like literally down to the T. It was such a good time. Maybe we'll talk about that in another episode.
It really was. I was about to say, we need to talk about it, and like, because I still have it like recorded on my phone, so we should like post clips of it, something like that. I think it'd be fun.
So amateur, we've definitely grown in our skill since then.
I don't know about that. That's the last time I did like
I personally have grown in my skills since then. I look back at the things that I made and designed, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And like now, so I felt solid, but then I also haven't like done any big projects since then.
But yeah, a little cool fun fact about us, I guess.
Moral of that story, we were friends in high school.
Yeah. But I feel like we've grown as friends throughout the years. We've both dealt with so much personally, like separately, and we've really stuck with each other through everything, even though they're completely different experiences. And we're just getting stronger as friends.
I know, we're evolving.
We are evolving.
Like I feel like as we're changing and like going through things and going from high school to college, from like super cringy annoying like teens to super cringy annoying adults.
Also, don't mean to offend you if you are a teen, but like it's just the reality. You're gonna look back at yourself in a couple years and be like, oh, I was annoying.
Yeah, we're gonna look back at this probably when we're
as soon as I'm done recording, I'm gonna look back at this.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Every time we do something for the podcast, it was like, just scrap it, cut it all. I hate it. So yeah, anyway, our relationship and everything has evolved and changed and shifted, and she was like one of the few only people from my hometown that I kept around after I moved.
I think you reach a certain point when you graduate high school, or just even in the middle of college, you start to realize, who your real friends are. You go through things and you see who's there to support you or who's going to stand by you and not judge you. And then you see the people that are like just there for the fun times and not for like the long run. But I think Callie and I are going strong thus far. Let's hope nothing happens.
I mean, it's been what?
Please don't start hating me.
Many years, like 4 years. It's fine.
It has been 4 years. Wow.
Yeah, we're just
like 4.5.
Yeah. That's insane.
It somehow like feels longer because like we know
Yeah.
so much about each other and like every inch of everything about our lives.
Also, I feel like some of the biggest things that have happened in our lives, we went through, like, together.
Right.
Like, for the most part. Like, we were
Like, looking back at your
around
life
during,
and you
like,
think about the important events that have happened during the time that we were friends. And also just the adjustment of moving away from home and going to college and going to a college that's maybe different than how things were back home and with different people. You know, you kind of learn, because when you're in your hometown, you already know how everyone kind of works. But then when you go away, you see how different people act in different, like, demographics. And you adjust to it.
Yeah.
And then it changes you, whether you like it or not. It's going to have some effect on you somehow. And if you can have a friend that can stick with you through all your changes, whether it's a positive change and you're growing and maturing, or maybe not, which I think we both have matured and grown in positive ways. But
Yeah, for sure.
it's good to have a friend to stick by you through that, and we hope that we are that friend to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is really sweet.
I know. Just give me an award for that one. That's the Leo coming out of me. I want an award. I'm kidding.
She, like, the way we have this set up is, like, we're FaceTiming, and she, like, leaned in really close to the camera and said that, and it just, oh man, I wish you could have seen that.
So when I first met Callie, I would say you've grown a lot in the sense of, like, you're more outwardly lovable.
Oh my god.
I worded that very poorly, but by that I mean, like, you seemed very, like, just to yourself back then, whereas now you're more, like, approachable and, like, friendly, like, hey, whereas before you were just, like, more shy, and you were, like, it felt like almost you had your friends and you loved those friends, but, like, and you didn't feel the need to, like, necessarily branch out. And so me, like, meeting you, I thought that you maybe didn't have an interest in meeting me, but I thought you were, like, I thought it was so cool because, like I said, the first time I met you, you were making your prom dress, and I was like, whoa, that's insane.
Yeah, I was like that in high school. I was very to myself. I did not... there were parts of high school that I really enjoyed, but there was a lot of parts that I really did not.
But then after I, like, actually got to know you, you were not what I thought. Like, I wasn't as intimidated by you. You're very, like, warm and welcoming.
Yeah, I love people. I think that I like to think that I try really hard to be a kind person, but definitely in high school and in middle school, I was a little harsh towards people.
Oh no, I'm not saying that you were rude. You were definitely not rude. You just probably were like, I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who this new girl is. I don't really care.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know, a fellow tall girl.
Oh yeah, for those of you who don't know, me and Ava are tall. Right. I'm like 5'11", almost 6 foot. I tell people 6 foot because, you know, once you're up there and you're female, you can just lie about it.
Everybody lies about
Ava,
it.
How tall are you exactly?
I was
like
5'9", but I shrunk because of my posture, so now I'm 5'8.5". My posture is very bad.
I actually grew an inch in college.
Really?
Fun fact. Yeah, my growth plates are closed now.
I was gonna say, you do seem taller now than you did before. I felt like we were closer in height back in high school than we are now. But that being said, even though I am shorter than you, I am still pretty tall compared to the average.
Well, yeah, the average is
I think the average is like 5'2", 5'4", yeah. Oh, I don't know. Shoot. But yeah.
Moral of the story is we're really tall.
And I feel like a lot of our friends were shorter.
Oh gosh.
Or are shorter.
Our like hometown was short. I think there was like 3 like tall girls, you know, that were known for being tall. And other than that, everyone was just tiny. I guess compared to me, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I've been told by a guy, I like you because you're tall.
I have never been told that.
Oh. But what did you think of me? Yeah. What was your first impression of me?
You,
if you can remember.
Yeah, you kind of had, like, I don't know if I'm just used to it or not, but you had this, like, resting, like, sad face.
And
like,
you had a resting
I don't know
bitch face.
like,
Let's not forget that.
yes. Yeah, no, still do. Fun fact, my boss told me he almost didn't hire me because I like looked
Really?
like I was gonna be a
I feel
bitch.
like you
Yes.
don't anymore have a resting face.
I don't know. Well, I mean, this was when I was 18. I got hired
Yeah.
at 18.
Right.
So, I don't know. Maybe I just smile a little bit more. Yeah, so you just had like a resting, like sad, or just like resting concern face, maybe?
What?
So I just was like, I was like, oh, she maybe is like really shy, really quiet. And then like I was already kind of shy. So I was like, this, whatever. I like wasn't gonna, like I said, like I didn't think much of it. So
I felt like
just,
it was
saw
maybe
you
a little
around.
bit awkward at first because we did do that class. So it was almost forced that we were forced to talk to each other. And I was also going through it at the time.
Yeah.
And I just needed to vent my problems. And there you were. So here we are now.
So we're renting our problems to more people.
Or just making you
but
listen
yeah.
to me. No, I'm joking. You are.
It goes both ways.
It does go both ways.
Yeah, we're both invested, but yeah, we have to. I don't know. Yeah. So
Good one.
I was shy,
Good job.
quiet. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't think much because I didn't see you around like too much. But I was like, once we had met and I knew that like you wanted to get into fashion, that kind of stuff, I just remember being like so stoked because like there was no one else really at our school or like in our town that cared that much about like fashion and like working at it on like a higher level,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like if people took that class, it was just because they needed like a free elective.
Yeah, and the teacher of that class
It was amazing.
We absolutely love her, and I still think we should have her like pop in on a podcast sometime. I feel like that would be so funny and so awkward, but oh man, I love her. But yeah, so I was like, I just remember being really excited about that after I like first heard that you were doing that. But yeah, I don't remember much from that time in high school, so not a ton going on.
I also feel like I noticed you more and maybe you noticed me more because I was new like to the town and to the school at the time, and I came from Houston, which is a huge city, to like a smaller town, and so at least in my eyes I felt like I stuck out like a sore thumb. And sometimes I would meet people and they like, I do? Thanks.
No, not do, you did. Because like I don't know if you said this, but like so like we grew up in not a small town, but definitely smaller.
To
and,
me,
like,
it's a small town.
Yes, coming from Houston, it's a tiny town, but but we all grew up with each other for the most part. So like
There was
I went
like
to
never a
elementary
new
school with,
kid.
like, there was rarely, especially in high school, there was rarely a new kid, and so like when there was, it was like new kid.
Yeah,
like
and it was a girl.
Yeah, fresh meat.
Yeah, I felt like everyone was like, oh my god, like there's a new person. Like I felt like people were. I probably wasn't this way, but it just felt like everyone was staring at me all the time because I also felt like again, because y'all already knew each other, you were settled in with your friends, and like you all like I guess dressed the same like as each other, whereas I felt like I dressed differently because I was from another place, as everywhere is. I'm not saying that one is better than the other. I'm just saying everyone dresses differently or acts differently.
I don't remember thinking that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no.
I just
and,
seeing
like, even
people
looking
wearing
back on
cowboy
pictures.
boots down the hallway. That was like a whoa.
Oh dear God, I'd never wear cowboy boots. No.
Now it's a trend again.
I don't actually. I've never owned cowboy boots. Fun fact.
I did, but I would only
Or
wear them to the
my
rodeo.
boots. I would own some white ones and like pair it with something like retro, but I think that would be like where.
Well, that's a huge trend right now. We'll talk about it in our Rags to Riches, maybe.
Oh.
Huge trend.
Oh, maybe we will. You think we're gonna see cowboy boots at the Met Gala?
No, but literally everyone everywhere is wearing cowboy boots right now. But I feel like I can't, or like we can't, because we're from Texas. Like it's only cute and cool if you're not from somewhere where people do wear them regularly.
Exactly. Yeah, it's fine. I don't really ever want to wear them. They'll be out of style here in a bit, so not super worried about it.
Well, that's the story of Callie and I.
Yes, it is.
And our friendship that dates back about 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years, our friendship dates back.
Wow, did I say that in a custom way?
To
Ooh.
me, it sounded like it. Oh, man.
Yeah, my roommates say that my accent slips out sometimes, but I never hear it.
I do when I get, like, very flustered or, like, upset. Or when I start, like, talking fast, it kind of just, like, slips out a little bit. But
Well, shoot us a DM or a message if you hear our accent come out.
oh, yeah, let us know. I'm curious. Because some people say they don't hear it at all, and some people are like, it's the strongest I've ever heard. I'm like,
Same.
okay.
Okay, well, that
Anyway.
was that.
So, yeah, every week we're going to do something called weekly recommendations that we're going to kind of use to close out our podcast. And it's just going to be things that we're obsessed with that week that we want to share with you.
Do you have anything this week?
I actually do. It's not anything like huge or new or anything like that, but I recently have tried the Love, Beauty, and Planet shampoo and conditioner, and it's kind of changed the ball game for me. I use the... let me make sure I'm getting this right. I actually use the tea tree, and I believe it's pronounced vetiver, shampoo, and then the lavender and argan oil conditioner, and my hair has been like just so smooth and shiny and healthy, and I really took the time to like try to find the ones I knew would help with my scalp and my hair. But yeah, you should definitely hop on that and see if any of those would work for you, because I love it. And I love the more natural smells, like, you know, lavender and tea tree. Like, I love those smells. So it's been great. That's my recommendation to you.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But yeah, Ava, do you have one?
I don't have one for this week, but hopefully I will next week.
Yes, hopefully.
So tune in so you can find out about that one.
She leaned into the camera again. Oh, it's cracking me up.
Also, if you have any recommendations that you would like to share with us too, or maybe that you want us to give a shout out on, again, message us on Instagram. I keep saying message us on Instagram, but do it.
Yeah, you can message us, you know, comment on our posts, whatever. Just let us know. We love that.
Yeah.
We love interaction, being friends with y'all. Yeah, I think that's all we have for this week. Sorry, it's a little bit of a shorter episode, but
we figured it's just the intro one. Next ones will be a little bit longer.
yes.
Little self-promo, follow Callie and I on Instagram. It's just our names, but you can find them in the bio of the podcast Instagram if it's easier, which is just Payphone Podcast.
Yep. Well, we
That's
will
it.
see y'all next. We will see y'all next week. Bye, guys. We love y'all.
Bye.